Welcome back to GH Spoilers channel. Today we will learn about the issue surrounding Nina Reeves' potential safe-breaking adventure and the dramatic consequences it might bring to her relationship with her daughter Willow Corinthos. The mother-daughter relationship at risk. The relationship between Willow Corinthos and Nina Reeves stands on precarious ground. Recent developments suggest their fragile bond could face another serious test in the coming episodes. With Willow set to move in with her children at Drew Quartermain's residence, the opportunity for an unexpected and uncomfortable confrontation between mother and daughter looms large on the horizon. The timing couldn't be more delicate, as Willow has only recently begun to accept Nina as her mother. This newfound relationship, still in its infancy, remains vulnerable to the slightest disruption. Should Willow discover Nina engaged in questionable activities within Drew's home, particularly breaking into his safe, the consequences could be devastating for their already tenuous connection. Drew's safe and Nina's dangerous plan. Nina Reeves has cleverly positioned herself to access Drew Quartermain's safe, having manipulated Maxie Jones into revealing the combination. This calculated move wasn't made without purpose. Nina clearly intends to uncover whatever secrets Drew might be concealing within that metal vault. The safe likely contains incriminating evidence related to Drew's blackmail of Portia Robinson. Drew has been holding evidence of Portia's tampering with laboratory results, using this information as leverage in their ongoing conflict. This documentation represents a significant threat not only to Portia's professional reputation but potentially to her freedom as well. Nina's motivation for accessing the safe may be multifaceted. While she might claim to be helping Ava Jerome retrieve the incriminating paperwork against Portia, her actions could also serve her own agenda in gathering ammunition against Drew. The complexity of her motivations makes her actions all the more dangerous and potentially damaging. Ava Jerome's involvement. Ava Jerome's role in this developing drama cannot be overlooked. In the March 12 episode, Ava is expected to approach Nina with a request for assistance. Given Ava's awareness of Drew's blackmail activities against Portia Robinson, it seems likely that her favor will involve Nina using her access to Drew's safe to retrieve the damaging documentation. Ava's strategic thinking may be flawed, however. Drew, being the shrewd businessman and former spy that he is, has likely created multiple copies of this evidence and secured them in various locations. Ava's hope that Drew hasn't considered this possibility demonstrates either her desperation or a significant underestimation of Drew's intelligence and foresight. The alliance between Ava and Nina adds another layer of complexity to this unfolding drama. Their collaboration could prove dangerous for both women, especially if their scheme is discovered by either Drew or Willow. The potential confrontation. The most explosive scenario awaiting viewers involves Willow potentially catching Nina in the act of breaking into Drew's safe. Such a discovery would place Nina in an impossible position, forced to explain her intrusive and possibly illegal actions to her daughter. This confrontation could serve as a catalyst for several dramatic developments. Nina might feel compelled to reveal everything, including her previous romantic encounters with Drew, in a desperate attempt to justify her actions. The shock of learning about her mother's involvement with Drew could further strain Willow's relationship with Nina, perhaps beyond repair. Alternatively, Nina might use this moment to expose Drew's blackmail activities, attempting to position herself as acting in the interests of justice rather than personal gain. Whether Willow would accept such an explanation remains uncertain, especially given her close relationship with Drew as Michael's business partner. Predictions for Port Charles. General Hospital spoilers suggest that the relationship between Willow and Nina faces significant challenges in the near future. The potential safe-breaking incident represents just one possible avenue for this predicted conflict to manifest. The writers have clearly established Nina's access to Drew's safe as a Chekhov's gun, a dramatic element that must come into play. The combination of Nina's possession of the safe combination, Willow's new living arrangement, and Ava's request for assistance creates the perfect storm for dramatic confrontation. As this storyline unfolds, Viewers should prepare for emotional confrontations, shocking revelations, and potentially irreparable damage to relationships throughout Port Charles. The ripple effects of Nina's actions could extend far beyond her relationship with Willow, potentially impacting Drew's standing in the community, Portia's professional future, and the complex web of alliances that define life in this dramatic corner of New York. Next, we will learn about the issue of potential romance brewing between Jocelyn Jacks and the mysterious Vaughn, as their professional relationship shows signs of evolving into something more complicated and potentially passionate. Jack Brennan's potential disapproval. The shadow of Jack Brennan looms large over any potential romantic development between Jocelyn and Vaughn. As the senior agent overseeing their operations, Brennan maintains strict protocols regarding agent relationships, particularly those involving handlers and their assets. His by-the-book approach to field operations has been well established throughout his tenure with the WSB, World Security Bureau, making any personal entanglements between Jocelyn and Vaughn professionally problematic. Sources close to the production hint that Brennan's character will serve as the primary obstacle should Jocelyn and Vaughn's relationship progress beyond professional boundaries. His disapproval wouldn't stem merely from bureaucratic adherence to rules but from genuine concern about operational security and the emotional well-being of his agents. Brennan has witnessed firsthand how romantic entanglements can compromise missions and endanger lives. Despite Brennan's likely opposition, our analysis suggests that his influence may ultimately prove insufficient if genuine feelings develop between the pair. The clandestine nature of their work creates an intense environment where emotional connections often flourish despite regulations. The isolation of their missions, combined with the adrenaline of danger, provides fertile ground for romance to blossom beyond Brennan's control. Viewer reactions and future possibilities. Early audience reactions to Bryce Durfee's Vaughn have been overwhelmingly positive, with social media buzzing about his charismatic debut. Fans have quickly drawn comparisons between Vaughn and other beloved GH characters who started as mysterious figures before becoming romantic leads. The hashtag #Voslin has already emerged among dedicated viewers anticipating a potential coupling. The chemistry test appears to have resonated with audiences, particularly the training sequences that balance tension with playful undertones. Online forums are divided between viewers eager for Jocelyn to find new love and those who believe it's too soon after Dex's tragic departure. This division mirrors the internal conflict Jocelyn herself appears to be experiencing. Looking ahead, several narrative paths could unfold. The writers might pursue a slow burn approach, allowing Jocelyn time to process her grief while gradually building tension with Vaughn. Alternatively, they could accelerate the relationship through a high-stakes mission requiring them to pose as a couple, a classic soap opera trope that often leads to genuine feelings emerging from pretense. The Dex factor and grief processing. Jocelyn's emotional journey following Dex Heller's death represents one of the most significant obstacles to any new romance. Her grief remains palpable, manifesting in both her professional decisions and personal interactions. The writers have carefully crafted scenes showing Jocelyn unconsciously reaching for her phone to text Dex, only to remember he's gone, small moments that powerfully illustrate her ongoing emotional struggle. Unlike many soap characters who quickly bounce back from loss, Jocelyn's mourning process has been portrayed with unusual depth and realism. This approach makes any potential relationship with Vaughn more complex and potentially more meaningful. Her grief doesn't simply disappear but becomes part of the emotional landscape she navigates as she considers opening herself to new possibilities. The ghost of Dex Heller continues to influence Jocelyn's interactions with Vaughn, sometimes causing her to draw comparisons or establish emotional barriers. This psychological dimension adds layers to their developing dynamic, creating opportunities for character growth beyond typical romantic storylines. Bryce Durfee's interview insights. In his revealing interview with Soap Opera Digest, Bryce Durfee offered several intriguing comments about working with Eden McCoy. Beyond describing her as warm and inviting, Durfee elaborated on their collaborative approach to physically demanding scenes. He mentioned their immediate comfort level during choreographed sequences, noting how quickly they developed non-verbal communication that enhanced their performances. "Eden and I clicked from day one," Durfee explained in the interview. "There's a natural rhythm to our scenes that makes even the most complicated blocking feel effortless. That kind of instant chemistry can't be manufactured, it either exists or it doesn't." Industry insiders suggest that producers were particularly impressed with the pair's screen test, which reportedly featured improvised elements that have since been incorporated into their characters' interactions. This creative synergy between actors often translates to compelling on-screen relationships that resonate with viewers. Training sequences and physical chemistry. The fight training sequences between Vaughn and Jocelyn have emerged as unexpected highlights, showcasing both physical chemistry and character development. These scenes blend intensity with undertones of attraction, creating a dynamic that extends beyond mere professional interaction. During their second training session, not shown in the original episode but referenced in behind-the-scenes materials, Vaughn reportedly complimented Jocelyn's quick learning curve while simultaneously challenging her to push beyond her comfort zone. This mentorship aspect adds complexity to their relationship, establishing a power dynamic that could evolve in interesting ways. The playful moment when Jocelyn delivered the humorous blow to Vaughn's groin served multiple narrative purposes. Beyond the obvious comedic relief, it established Jocelyn's unwillingness to be dominated or controlled, even by someone she's growing to respect. Vaughn's reaction, pain mixed with genuine admiration, revealed his appreciation for her spirit and resourcefulness. The visual imagery of these training sequences has been carefully constructed, with Vaughn's tousled hair falling toward Jocelyn creating intimate moments within professional contexts. The cinematography during these scenes employs closer camera angles and lingering shots that subtly suggest potential romantic development. The undercover relationship possibility. One of the most intriguing potential storylines involves Jocelyn and Vaughn potentially needing to pose as a couple during an undercover operation. This classic soap opera device would create perfect conditions for exploring romantic tension while maintaining plausible deniability for both characters. Such a mission would likely involve infiltrating high society events, perhaps connected to the ongoing investigation into international arms dealing that has been hinted at in recent episodes. The scenario would require convincing performances as a couple, including public displays of affection that could blur the lines between pretense and genuine emotion. The fake relationship becomes real trope works particularly well in espionage contexts, as it forces characters to examine their feelings under extraordinary circumstances. For Jocelyn, such a mission would create internal conflict between her lingering feelings for Dex and her growing attraction to Vaughn. Jocelyn's deception and moral conflict. Jocelyn's discomfort with deceiving her mother Carly and friends represents a significant aspect of her character development. Unlike seasoned operatives who compartmentalize their lives, Jocelyn struggles with the moral implications of living a double life. This ethical dimension adds depth to her character and creates natural tension in her interactions with Vaughn. Her reluctance to embrace deception stands in stark contrast to Vaughn's pragmatic approach to their work. Where she sees moral compromise, he sees necessary operational security. This fundamental difference in perspective creates fertile ground for both conflict and attraction, as opposites often do in dramatic narratives. As Jocelyn navigates this moral terrain, her relationship with Vaughn will inevitably be shaped by how they reconcile these different worldviews. Their philosophical discussions about necessity versus integrity could evolve into deeper conversations about personal values and emotional vulnerability. Chemistry evaluation and age difference. The apparent chemistry evaluation between Jocelyn and Vaughn during their initial interactions has yielded promising results according to production sources. Their scenes together demonstrate the elusive quality directors seek, natural tension that makes even mundane dialogue feel charged with subtext. The age difference between the characters, while not explicitly stated, appears to be approximately 5 to 7 years based on contextual clues and character backgrounds. This gap is significant enough to create interesting power dynamics but not so large as to raise ethical concerns about their potential relationship. Vaughn's role as mentor further complicates this dynamic, creating a relationship that blends professional guidance with personal connection. His perception of Jocelyn as somewhat naive contrasts with his recognition of her natural talents and intelligence, a contradiction that makes their interactions particularly compelling. As they continue working together, the evolution of their relationship will likely reflect Jocelyn's growing confidence and Vaughn's gradual recognition of her as an equal rather than a protégé. This shifting power balance could serve as the foundation for a more balanced romantic relationship should the storyline move in that direction. In conclusion, while Jocelyn and Vaughn's future remains uncertain, the groundwork has clearly been laid for potential romantic development. Whether they become Port Charles's next power couple or maintain a complex professional relationship with unresolved tension, their dynamic promises to be one of General Hospital's most intriguing storylines in the coming months. Stay tuned for more updates as this captivating relationship continues to unfold on our screens.